Well, it's come to my attention that you have this pre-show ritual. And oddly enough, it's a ritual that I also do whenever I have a big day ahead of me. So in honor of it, I have brought paint chips and glue. Since you say you like to eat paint chips and sniff glue before shows.
Thank you very much.
I'm gonna go ahead and help myself to some.
Now, it is very good, you know what I mean? Just like when you want to unwind, or if anything's bothering you in life, you know what I mean? Paint chips and glue can always remove those problems.
Yep.
And you know, because I don't drink anymore. So people are like, well, what do you do, you know, to replace the drinking? Exercise, whatever. I go, no, I haven't replaced anything. I still do the same things I always did. You know, exercise, play guitar, and all that other stuff. Gardening and everything like that. Clean up, you know, the dog run and everything like that. But I've included glue and paint chips, and the results are astoundingly the same. I wake up in the morning with my pants around my ankles, and the fellas remind me that I was really hilarious, and it was a good night. And it's less filling, so you know it helps with my slim girlish figure.
Right,
and,
calories.
Yes, it's
calories in paint chips.
Without a doubt.
I mean, just check
So
me
you
out.
know, yeah. So I mean, for health benefits as well. And you know, you want to have that slim, Black Label Miss America physique when you get up there on stage. So yeah, I find a lot of benefits in it.
Awesome. What's up, everyone? I'm Aly Veneno with Guitar World Magazine and AlyIsMagic.com, and I am sitting here with the legendary Zakk Wylde of Black Label Society, who is currently on tour with Generation X, featuring 5 of the world's most legendary guitarists to date. So Zakk, you recently released your 10th album with Black Label Society, the Grimmest Hits.
Yes.
What can you tell me about it?
But you know, because people are always asking, it's just like, well, Zakk, don't you think the title, Grimmest Hits, is going to confuse people with Greatest Hits? And I'm like, no, not at all. Because see, in order to have a Greatest Hits compilation, you have to have hits, let alone them being great. We don't have any of those. So therefore, it's not going to confuse anybody. It's just Grimmest Hits. I mean, you know, Greatest Hits is usually reserved for bands like the Bee Gees, the Beatles, you know, bands like that. Not us. So Grimmest Hits is fine.
Not you yet. So I do want to say that I've listened to the entire album, and my favorite song is A Love Unreal. And I wonder, the lyrics in it, is it being sung from your perspective or from the perspective of someone else?
Well, that's the great thing about lyrics. It depends on what you want it to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I pretty much know what they're about. But I mean, actually the great thing is when somebody says, man, I thought the lyrics were about this, it's like, no, it's not even close. You know what I mean? But the whole thing is, that's the beautiful thing about lyrics. I mean, whatever it is that they're saying, you know, if it speaks to you, then that's all that matters.
Absolutely. Well, one thing that I've read about you is that you are a soldier in Christ, and I couldn't help but feel that a lot of the lyrics in all of your songs seem to have a very spiritual tone to them. At least they spoke to me that way, where I felt like they were coming from a deeper part inside of you. Am I kind of going in the right direction? I felt like it had a very,
Well, I mean, the majority of the lyrics that I write are, you know, about fast cars, fast women, and good times. but the whole thing is, yeah, I think, I mean, with me, lyrically, I just, once I get a topic I want to sing it about, then I'll start working on it. You know what I mean? If it's something that interests me or anything like that. But yeah, but I think any events that have either happened to me, or books that I've either read, or religion, or have happened to somebody I know. You know what I mean? So to me, there's always a wealth and depth of stuff that you could write about in that regard. But then, you know, then it always ends up coming back to fast cars, fast women, and good times.
we like the good times. I'm all about that. And I've also noticed too that because of your personality and just the presence that you've created through Black Label Society and playing with Ozzy for all of these years, and also you have your Zach Sabbath cover band. Is that how you call it, a cover band? You've inspired so many people. You've hit so many different demographics of people, age ranges and races. Would you say that because of your lifestyle and everything that you're doing, that you inspire people to kind of go with your flow, like especially with you getting sober?
I think
like,
that's, well,
does
no,
that
I think,
inspire?
you know, I mean, the whole thing is that's what it's all about, is inspiring people. I mean, all the people that I've ever loved, you know what I mean, whether it's Elton John and Jimmy Page, Tony Iommi, Ozzy, I mean, all that, and St. Rhodes, and John McLaughlin, Al Di Meola, Frank Marino. I mean, all the guys that I love and that have inspired me and influenced me. But yeah, that's what it's all about. I mean, you know, because this way people could look at me and go, Zakk, you give me hope. Hope that if an ass clown like yourself can do something and actually pay the light bills by doing what you love, that's inspired me. So, you know, yeah, I mean, you know, just as long as everyone's having a good time, and, you know, but I think that's what it's all about, though. You know, you just do what you love, and that's the same thing I tell my kids. You know, don't worry about what I do. It's whatever you love doing, and makes you happy. That's all that matters. I mean, because you have to have passion for whatever it is you're doing in life.
Absolutely.
And if you love it, then it's never a job.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, but yeah, I thank the good Lord every day for everything I have, man. Without a doubt, I'm truly blessed.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. My father always told me, he's like, look, you can do whatever it is you want. As long as you don't hurt anybody in the process, you can earn money to eat, and you're happy. That's the main goal.
JD, who is the godfather of Savage Page, of our little guy, and I've known JD since we've been 17. He plays bass and black. He's basically my partner in crime with Black Label. He says, you know, like you're saying, don't hurt anybody, you know, as long as you're having a good time. But JD seems to say that, Zakk, every time you pick up the guitar, you're hurting somebody. It's just painful. It's just painfully abusive. And, you know, he has to deal with that since we've been 17 years old. So, but I enjoy hurting him immensely, if that's the case. It's rather fun. But, you know, so, no, but that's the truth, though. As long as you're doing what you love, it's all good. But like you said, as long as you're not robbing banks, you know, pretty much, maybe shouldn't get into that, but pick
it's not
something
easy
else.
to get away with it.
Yeah, just pick
anymore,
something
you know?
else.
Back
You know
in
what
the
I
good
mean?
old 20s, you
And
know.
jail time usually gets in the way of you ruling the world, you know what I mean?
Darn.
So you don't want that. That's
Darn
another
jail
thing you want
time.
to tell your kids, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely try to practice, you know, that with my son. Like,
And
you know, just
kind of
don't go to jail.
Stay out of the shark
You're only
infested
7,
waters.
but
Yeah,
you'll
just-
figure it
just
out.
swim over here.
So speaking about doing what you love, you are not an idle man. You've got so many different things going on. Currently, right now, you're on tour with Generation X. And for those of you who don't know what Generation X is, it is a showcase of amazing guitarists started by Steve Vai. And Steve Vai has said himself that he handpicked to start this first series of Generation X his favorite guitarists. And he chose specifically guitarists that are in touch with their craft and their instrument. So having you, Tosin Abasi, Nuno Bentancourt, Yngwie Malmsteen, and Steve Vai himself, how do you feel about this group as a whole? I mean, can you see like how epic and legendary this is with the 5 of you together?
Well, I mean, I'm honored that you say that Steve said that, but the truth of the matter is, you know, just like with the Ozzy thing, like how'd you get back with the boss? You know, Oz was like, Zakk, I tried contacting Jake, Bernie Torme, Brad Gillis, and Gus. None of them were available. You're all that's left. You're the last option. And just the same thing with this. Steve called me, he said, Zakk, we tried getting in touch with John McLaughlin, Frank Marino, Tony Iommi, and
No,
Jimmy
they
Page.
didn't.
And he said, none of them were available. You're our last option. And I told all my friends, I said, well, you know, Steve said I'm the last option. Oz said I'm the last option. And they said, doesn't that hurt your feelings? I go, no. At least I'm an option. You see what I'm saying?
Well, that's true.
And that's the story of my marriage as well. So, you know, yeah, I was the last option. She had other choices. None of the guys were available. I was the last option. And here we are 33 years later with 4 kids. So, hey, listen, I enjoy being the last option. As long as you got to be in it to win it. So the whole thing is never quit, kids. And if you are that last option, take that opportunity.
True. Well, and it could be a godsend too, because maybe you were supposed to be that option, and so all those other people.
That's
got
the way I
blocked out
look at
anyway.
it.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I don't
Always
see
stay
it as a
positive.
last. I think that if
And then
anyone
have a
else,
little more glue and paint chips, and then, you know, just, you know, if
I
you're
brought
feeling
plenty.
sad about being the last option, you know, and that'll kind of erase that, and then next thing you know, you're on stage.
Well, and that was going to be another thing that I was going to talk about, but you know, we could always jump to it as well. Like when you said that, you know, how you kind of got back together with Ozzy. Now, of course, you can read anything you want, but the only way I'm going to learn stuff is if I read stuff or I watch videos of, you know, people like me who give you facts. So whether it's fact or not, but it's actually quoted in Rolling Stone that Ozzy said that he really likes how the band is sounding now for No More Tours 2, which Zakk is going to be jumping right over to after Generation X. But he said that he really loves the sound with you back in the band, and he actually wants to do one more solo album with you on guitar.
Just Foz needs me to bring over milk and eggs over to the house, you know, on the way over to clean the dog run because there's company coming over. I just do it. So, but yeah, if Ozzy wants to do another record, you know, he's like, exactly, you got any riffs laying around or just, you know, I mean, that's the way we've always done it. So, or, you know, I mean, now if he's gotten any songs that he's written with any of his buddies, it's just like, Zakk, check out this tune or whatever. It's like, all right, let's do it. So, yeah, it's just real easy. It's no brainer.
Awesome. So when you're done, I think you guys have, what, 4 or 5 more shows left for Generation X?
I think so, yeah. We go up to the 18th. The show ends at the Wiltern Theater in Los Angeles.
And as I understand, you're going to be in all of the shows for 2019, but they're all going to be international for No More Tours 2?
Yeah, I think right after this, you know, obviously everybody will be home for Christmas. So then right after that, I think at the end of January, we'll go over with Judas Priest throughout Europe, which will be great. Yeah, so, you know.
Well, sorry, suckers. If you didn't catch it here in the States, we're going to miss a really, really good show.
Oh, either that or you just road trip it over to Europe.
Oh, is there a bridge that we can drive over?
Exactly.
You know, you can actually go on Google Earth and you can, or like do like a map quest. I think maybe it's MapQuest. You can map quest from, let's say, here in South Florida to London, and it'll like tell you to like swim across the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh, to how to swim.
Yeah,
it'll
tell you.
The proper way to swim, what to miss all the great white sharks, and then, you know, whatever other problems you'll have.
Yeah, it's like drive up to the New York Pier and then swim across the Atlantic Ocean. You're like, what? I'm not going to do that.
I mean, unless you're Mark Spitz, I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah, I'm
I
good.
would take a flight.
Yeah, I think I would do that too.
That would be easiest.
All right, well, so since we're obviously not going to get an opportunity to catch it, you know, No More Tours 2 in the States, since you guys are now going international, unless you guys want to fly. What would some of our viewers who are actually going to be overseas, what can they expect from a No More Tours 2 show?
A lot of dancing, a lot of Diana Ross costume changes.
No way.
Yes, and then
definitely getting
we put everything we can into the show. You know, so I mean, with Ozzy, it's all or nothing. You know, he enjoys dance. He enjoys the costume changes. He enjoys the excitement of the show. So, yeah, it's without a doubt. So you have to be in, you know, I mean, you have to train for at least 6 months solid before you get involved in one of these shows.
Wow, really? For the dancing? And
a lot of yoga,
airway?
a lot of Pilates, a lot of everything. So.
Well, you do have some very unique stances when you play guitar,
yes.
You know? I mean, you have some very, like, strong power moves with your legs when you're really getting down on your axis.
I'm telling you, it's all the uterus deadlifts I do, and you know, my fallopian tube sled pulls, I think help immensely.
Can you send me the instructions for those?
Without a doubt, no problem
probably need
at all.
those. Fallopian, wait, what was it?
Fallopian tube sled pull. It's a weighted sled, and you pull it with your fallopian tubes.
So do you borrow some of
Yeah,
these
it's a lot of
fallopian
core
tubes?
exercises.
Oh my goodness, that sounds very, very intense.
It's good for the back as well.
Ah, well, I need that because I'm a runner and sometimes my back hurts.
Without a doubt.
So I know I've skipped around a lot, but I know I had more questions about Generation X because I've been waiting a couple months to see this show. I'm really excited about it. I mean, without a doubt, you know, the 5 of you are, for sure, like my favorite guitarists. So I'm really glad that you're on this show,
cool.
Whether you were like last pick or whatnot. I mean,
most likely
you've been part of music as long as I've been listening to rock music. You know, I'm 36 years old, so I've listened to you for many, many years. So it's almost like you're like a distant relative. You know what I mean?
Very cool.
So I wanted to ask you a couple more questions about your album and then also about Generation X. So I'll start with the album. One thing that I keep hearing come up is everyone is saying, oh, well, you know, Zakk sounds like he's trying to sing like Ozzy, or he's got this Ozzy sound. And to me, I hear something completely different. Like, if anything, your singing voice to me sounds like you have a mixture between listening to something Alice in Chains and something with a Pearl Jam, like mixture, and then your own unique style. And then throughout the album, you have various tones and various changes in the styles of music. It's very versatile. So what would you say about that feedback that you're hearing about your singing voice?
Well, I pay other people to sing on the record, and I take full credit for it.
You're Milli Vanilli-ing?
Yes, and I have no problems with that. So, and everyone accepts the money or the paid vacations and everything like that, but then they sign off. So, but the whole thing is, and that's one of the other reasons, we had the Zakk Sabbath cover band. But, no, it's just, like you said, I just go in there and, you do the vocals and that's it. So,
Well, if anything, you can't help but become a product of your environment. If you're playing with Ozzy Osbourne for 20, 30 years, you can't help but, that's something that you hear and that comes natural or inspires you. So even if you did have a similar style, it's not like it would be abnormal. But even then, I personally feel I disagree with that feedback. I think you have a very unique and a different style of singing. So I appreciate it. For sure.
Very good. Well, I hear a bit of Bette Midler in there as well, along with a little bit of Babs, Barbara Streisand. But I'll take the Ozzy thing as well. But because I love the Oz. So,
yeah, who doesn't?
Gotta love the boss.
He's been.
As far as I'm concerned, that's a compliment, without a doubt.
Yeah, very good. I'm glad you look at it that way. And then so with Generation X, again jumping around, this is where this type of thing doesn't help me because ADHD wins all the time. But
like you said, if you did mention Alice in Chains and you did mention Pearl Jam, and the thing is, a lot of thought does go into this because what happens is the people buy the record thinking it's Alice or Pearl Jam. And they're like thoroughly disappointed by the time they get a couple tracks in. And they go, this isn't Alice or Pearl Jam. But the thing is this, most people are too lazy to want to return the product. It's like a piece of fitness equipment. And so it just sits there and the sale is made. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there is a lot of thought that goes into these vocals.
I think you're the only one that looks at it so grimly.
Once again, you got to stay positive.
Yeah.
So, next question.
Okay, so now that you're going to be playing Generation X, I noticed that you guys have, and this is based on Wikipedia, there's kind of like a set list or a playlist of songs that you guys will actually be playing. So do you guys handpick these songs, like the three that you're doing what, a Hendrix, Black Sabbath, and then I can't remember what the third one was.
Actually, on this one we're doing Gary Moore, still got the blues, and then, doing a batch of Zakk Sabbath stuff because I remember people were asking when Zakk Sabbath's going to be coming back around and stuff like this. So we just got done doing Black Label. So instead of doing any Black Label songs or anything like that, and obviously we've done the Hendrix Experience. It's always fun playing stuff from your favorite artists. So get you a chance to do different stuff. So, but on this run, we're just like, might as well whip out some of the Zakk Sabbath stuff. So we're doing some Sabbath tunes on this one, and then the Gary Moore thing. So, then obviously Steve whipped up Bohemian Rhapsody for all of us. So it's like this orchestrated Bohemian Rhapsody with the vocals and all the opera stuff and everything like that.
So who's on vocals?
Nobody. It's all done on guitar. So you got 5 guitars doing it.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be singing it in the crowd.
You'll be seeing it tonight.
Yeah, because I remember, we used to watch Wayne's World, and when that whole little clip came out, we were like definitely doing it.
Father Steve did an amazing job on this thing. So, he really knocked it out of the park for sure.
Well, this is going to be an epic show for sure, and I think that Steve is, doing a real awesome thing. I know that he said he wanted to start more with the metal and rock genre, but eventually wants to, spread out to different genres of music, kind of doing the same thing, showcasing, musically inclined artists in, I guess, their genre. So I think one of the big things that the fans in Guitar World magazine really want to know is, what are you going to be shredding with tonight?
All my Wild Audio stuff. A bunch of the Barbarians, the Warhammer, and just like, a bunch of the new fiddles we got out. So that's about it.
Awesome. Well, I'm so grateful that you took the time to sit with me and talk with me. It was a total honor to meet you.
Great talking with you as well.
I'm like in a dream state right now, you know what I mean? Well, maybe it was the paint chips that I ate. I'm feeling a little elevated. But so that's what we have going on. We are at the Hard Rock Seminole Casino in Hollywood, Florida. I'm sitting with Zakk Wylde, and I'm Aly Veneno. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you stay tuned to Guitar World Magazine for more interviews with amazing guitarists like Zakk Wylde.
Yeah! All right.